that should be live in Creative Genius Corner and everywhere else now. Good morning. How is everybody this morning? What a rainy morning this morning. We've gone from absolutely can't breathe from heat, and I'm not a heat person, to rain. So first things first, if you're in Creative Genius Corner and you're watching, can you let me know if you can see the me on video this week, because the video didn't stream last week. Hopefully it is streaming. I don't want to be trying to check that while I'm actually on the live. And if you're everywhere else, I hope you've had a really good week and that you've got great plans for this week. So good morning to everybody. And today I'm going to be talking about how to manage change and giving you some real-time updates on life, business, and moving on. Because I think people don't talk about that in real time enough on lives. And I thought it was a great opportunity to share my thought processes, my planning, my structuring, and how I approach everything I do in life, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Mandy Nicholson, and I am the Creative Genius Consultant. I'm an artist and an author and a creative retreat owner here in Scotland. And I help creative women to launch, grow, and scale their businesses and to make more money. And cheers, I'm still drinking my tea. I didn't quite finish it. So cheers, hope you're well. So let's talk about change. And this is a massive, I mean, I have been through considerable change in my in the last couple of decades, as many of you know. And if you don't know, then there's lots of ways to find out. You can read my book, The Life I Won, which tells you all about the massive change. You can buy that on Amazon. You can buy it on Kindle for 99p at the minute, because I've got a 10-day promotion on it. You can buy it on paperback, you can buy it on hardback, and that tells the story of how I lost everything. That was a massive period of change for me, and that was 2009. Move forward 10 years, I'd rebuilt my life. I'd lived in change for 10 years. And then in 2019, I bought my dream home for cash. There was massive change happening consistently for the last couple of decades. Then Gary died in 2020, and then I moved to Scotland into my mini castle. There's just been this constant 20 years or so of big change happening. And I want to talk about that because it's happening again now. And it's happening now because I have triggered it, not because of circumstances, not because something has happened to me. I have made the choice right now to create the change in my life. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. Sometimes we change because we have to, because something happens. That's what's been happening to me in the last couple of decades. And when you instigate and live and lean into those big changes and recreate your life and rebuild your life, there has to be a purpose. So I've done that very intentionally and purposefully over the last 20 years or so, rebuilding my empire, moving to Scotland, building my mini castle, which, you know, I run creative retreats here. I do bed and breakfast here. I've built a really good, profitable business here. Plus, I bought the building for a very low price, and it's now worth $500,000. I've gone from being bankrupt in 2009 to being worth over $1 million. So there's been massive change going on all the time. But I turned 60 last year, and my daughter graduated uni with a first-class honours degree last year, and also was finally diagnosed with autism, with EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and with ADHD after 20 years of fighting. See, my life has been constant challenge, change, and fighting. It's just life. Everybody's story is the same as mine. It's just life. Leaning into life is how you create success. So once Becca was diagnosed with all of these conditions, she is struggling a bit with life. And I made the decision it was time for me to put me and my family first. And this year I decided to retire my coaching business, the business that brings me in six figures. I'm retiring it. And I took my final cohort in the last couple of weeks. So there's no more spaces on the Creative Mastermind. And I finish up with those wonderful bunch of ladies that really excite me next June. So they all finish up next June or January, depending on when they came in. So that'll be the end of the Creative Mastermind, a business that's really helped me rebuild my life. And my mini castle is on the market. It's up for sale for $500,000. If you want to buy a mini castle in Scotland with a really good business that already is here and established, then if you've got $500,000, it's all yours. But that's up for sale at the moment. That'll sell when it sells. If it takes a year to sell, so be it. That's why I gave my Creative Mastermind a year to retire it. I am prepared to wait. I'm in no rush, but I definitely want to be winding down for retirement. And when I say winding down for retirement, you know that I really don't mean winding down. I'm going to create something on the other end. I don't know what that is yet. But how do we make those big decisions? That was a big decision, one that I have decided, one that I have triggered. And it's about what's right for you at the time. I've spent the last 5 years dealing with the grief of losing my husband. And that's been a process. You can't rush that process. Grief is very personal. It takes as long as it takes for everybody. That was the hardest loss I've ever had in my life. Don't get me wrong. I've had some big losses. I've lost my dad. I've lost friends. I've lost grandparents. I've lost beloved dogs. But having been married 4 times, got it wrong 3 times and got it right once, and then losing that person, it was a big loss for me. So the 5 years between losing Gary and now have been healing for me. And I decided at the end of last year to put myself first. And so began my weight loss journey, losing that grief weight that I've had. And I am now very nearly at goal weight, feeling really healthy and wanting to spend time with my children and any grandchildren that come along now. So I need to create a life that allows me to do that. So how do you deal with that decision making and change? I always ask this question: what am I prepared to do? What is my purpose? And how am I going to do it? Those are the questions that what am I prepared to do? How hard am I prepared to work for what I want next? So when I asked that question in 2009, I was prepared to work really hard. I was a single mum, bankrupt, living in social housing with 2 kids, 2 dogs, and I really had to create something. So I was prepared to do anything and work as hard as I needed to. In 2019, when I bought the dream home for cash, I asked what was I prepared to do? And I was prepared to build a business, but it must fit in with whatever time left I had with my husband, Gary, because, we had a life-limiting condition. So I just had the Creative Mastermind at that point. We owned our house outright. I didn't have any worries. So life was easier. When he died, I asked the same question: what am I prepared to do? And I needed to give myself purpose to recover from grief. So hence the mini castles, sharing that journey with the world, going all in, working really hard again, because working hard was what helps me heal and drives me forward. So now we're hitting this stage in life where I'm worth over $1 million. I want to cash in that money and enjoy my life. I've watched my dad die at 67 and Gary die at 54. I'm 61 in October. I don't want to regret working hard for the last decades of my life. I want to really enjoy it. And I've got the resources to be able to do that. So in that decision-making process, there's numerous decisions. So decision 1 was, how am I going to do it? That was to retire the coaching business, sell the property, retire that business, to cash in, if you like, the work that I've done for the last 5 years. So it's like, I'm going to cash it in now. Thank you very much. I've got my pension pot, I've got savings, and now I'm cashing in the property. Because I want to be able to spend time. Time is the most valuable resource to me right now at this stage of my life. So how do I cash in everything else in order to give me that time? So everything I look at now is about time. The decision-making process is about time. So I'm getting to Creative Genius Corner and what I'm thinking about doing with my group and other social media channels that I'm running at the moment. So although I haven't made big changes on all of my social media, over the next few months, as the house is up for sale, I'll be paring back on all my social media. That includes my group, Creative Genius Corner. So I did think about that last week and thought, why am I putting the time into putting posts into this group? That takes me a couple of hours a week. I've got a busy life. Still running bed and breakfast. I'm fully booked. It's peak season. I've got retreats still booked till the end of September. So business is still busy. I've still got, 15, 20 women on my creative mastermind with me until next year. So business is still busy. So what am I spending time doing? So I question everything. What's productive for me? So Creative Genius Corner, I am going to pare back. I'm going to probably post in there 2 or 3 times a week and pare back on my other social media channels. So my message to you today is, what's important to you right now in your life? What balance do you want to achieve between your business, your work, if you're working, your activities, the things that you love doing? What's the balance that you want to create in your life? And how do you question what you're doing right now if it's not what you want to be doing? This is the point of this live today, is to come on and actually help you to think. This is happening real time to me right now in my life. Yeah, I am making decisions one at a time, that some of them are big, some of them are small. Big ones, retiring my coaching business, selling the property. Smaller ones, what am I going to do with the group that takes me a couple of hours a week to create posts for? What am I going to do with my social media channels? Don't want to lose that network because I'll be creating something else at the other end, but don't want to be posting all the time. And it's the thing that I teach my clients to do, is to stay visible and post all the time. But actually, because I don't know what I'm doing at the other end, then there is no point yet. But I need to still communicate with the network that I currently have. So my journey always is about sharing what's happening so that you can learn from the things that I do and how I do it. So when I'm planning my diary, you all know, most of you that have watched me know that I plan using a method called rocks, pebbles, and sand, and I prioritize what's important. But look at my diary right now. It's virtually empty. Do you know what's in there? Important and income producing activities only. That's it. Everything else is not important, because the most important things right now are serving my clients that are currently working with me, working on any other projects that I have, serving the customers that come to the art bank, and selling the property. Other things become less important. So when you are looking at your life, what's your purpose? What are your priorities? What's important to you right now? Right now. If it's building your business and growing it so that you can create a better life later on, what's important to you right now might be working really hard and going all in, which is Avex Live. That's what I did. I went all in. I worked really hard. I built a business that has now created this opportunity for me to make the decisions I'm making now. Yeah. So sometimes in your life, it's about going all in, and it's about creating something that will serve you later on down the line. It's about establishing your income streams. So I'm still doing that as we speak. I did a free masterclass on Amazon, how to publish a low content book on Amazon about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I created a coloring book, a fairy coloring book, because it's completely not me, obscure, and something I wouldn't normally do, just to demonstrate how easy it is to create a low content book really quickly and publish it on Amazon. And the ladies that were on the masterclass challenged me to actually publish it and see how long it took me to sell it, the first copy. So to let you know, the links are in the description. You can get the free masterclass from the link in the description, and you can buy the coloring book for any little girls in your life from the link in the description. And to let you know, it actually went live as published on Sunday. I sold the first copy on Monday to somebody I don't know on Amazon. So that's how quickly I did the masterclass 3 weeks ago. It took 3 weeks between me finishing it off, getting it up to KDP, tweaking it a few times because it didn't quite fit with what their templates were, and sometimes you're going to go back and tweak. So that's what happens. It took 3 weeks to get it to published, and 1 day, 2 days, Sunday, Monday, 1 day to sell the first copy. So if you want to be selling in low content books, get onto that free masterclass now, create something, get it on Amazon, and you could be starting to sell those within a few weeks. So there's always a project on the go. So some of the things I'll be doing between now and, when this property sells is I have obviously got the life I won, but I've got the half written, the life I created still to finish off. So I'm going to be working on that book and finishing that off with a view that I'll be launching book 2 by the end of the year. That's a big challenge for me because it's a big thing to finish those books off, and then I can start book 3. So whilst still delivering to my current clients and my customers here at the Art Bank, there's always a project to do. In order to do that project, that's why I'm paring back on things like my group, Creative Genius Corner, and my other social media channels, because that time can be put into writing. Obviously, I'm still sewing, and I'm working on a big sewing project that I want to do as a big project when I move. So there's loads of things on the go still. And I want you to know that you can do all the things, but the only reason I'm able to do all the things, make those decisions now, is because I built the big thing first. I established the income. I built something that was giving me regular, consistent, predictable income into my life. And that's what served me over the last few years. And if that's where you are right now, that's your focus. That's where your plans should be. Everything you do should be focused around that. And only that, until you've established what it is you're going for. Then you can start to make some of the other decisions. So that's me sharing how to manage change, how I manage change with real-time updates on my life, on my business, and moving home, including the latest project that came out of delivering a free masterclass. I'm still doing free stuff. Yeah. So I hope that gives you enough motivation and inspiration to continue to follow your purpose, your true desires, your goals, and your dreams. Not give up, to go all in when you need to go all in, to make decisions that serve you when you need to make them, and to make them in a strategic, productive way that serves what you want your life to feel like just now. So that's it. I'm going to go and finish my cup of tea, which is probably cold by now, but hey ho, I'll drink the end of it. And I'll see you next Tuesday. I will pop in live every Tuesday still with updates or business advice, or depending what's happened or what's happening with my clients in the mastermind over the next week, and share those tips with you. If you want to watch, you can watch. If you don't have to. Have an awesome week. I'll see you then.